Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now September 13th of 2022, and we are now just days away from the official release of Star Wars Andor on Disney+, as well as Tales of the Jedi, which by the way will debut by this October, before we get back into live action material in 2023. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that yes, we do have Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas working together as a team to really bring Star Wars to a different level. Now, what they are doing is that they are taking a lot of elements from Star Wars Legends and throwing it into the Disney canon. That's basically what their end game is that they want to make as much canon Star Wars Legends material as possible. And that brings us to where we are right now. There's a lot of things happening between, Jon, George, and Dave, really talking to the Disney executives on what they want to do, what they believe is right, and the Disney executives, thankfully, are rolling along with all of it and are allowing them to do exactly as they please. So that brings us to the next thing here, and exactly what's going on with the new Star Wars projects and what Jon Favreau recently had to confirm about a big cancellation from the roadmap of the Star Wars franchise that's going to be pretty much announced at 2023's Disney Star Wars Celebration. So with that being said, however, what's even all the more intriguing above all of this is that Favreau is really working around the clock with The Mandalorian Season 4 already. He's got a lot of storyboards done. A lot of other aspects have been completed to really give the fans something new for the franchise. And at the end of the day, given that Filoni is also very busy with Ahsoka, there's a lot at hand here. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm getting ready to develop new Star Wars TV shows and movies for the Star Wars franchise led by Favreau and Filoni, they are also focused on making big announcements at Celebration 23. Now, in a recent interview with Jon Favreau, he went on to confirm some big changes with the Star Wars franchise, where he confirmed the cancellation of one of his Star Wars shows and gave more details on what he was supposed to do with the series. Now, Favreau went on to state the following to the fans. It was always my intention to expand the story of what happened right after Return of the Jedi, which is what we were set out to do with Rangers of the New Republic. We had this whole plan mapped out before we unfortunately had decided to, yes, cancel the project due to creative complications and other factors that also made things difficult. Our approach was to really show fans the lives of Luke, Han, and Leia, and what the Rebellion's lives were like just after the Battle of Endor. We wanted to really illustrate something special to the fans by showing them the aftermath of the war against the Empire. We had this really big story also for Cara Dune by Gina Carano. She was going to lead a group of rebels to fight some of the Imperial remnants. It was going to be exciting, but once Gina was let go at the time by Kathleen Kennedy, we knew this would only make things even more difficult. So let me just stop here quick for a second of what Favreau is saying. Alright, so Favreau openly saying that this was going to feature characters like Luke, Han, Leia, and other characters in the pipeline, along with the Rebellion fighting off the Imperial remnants. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me sounds like it would have been a very engaging series, showing us the aftermath of the fall of the Empire and how they are struggling to survive. Now, as you all know, by The Mandalorian, and when that time comes around, we see successful factions of the Imperial remnants, one of which led by Moff Gideon. And at the end of the day, we never really got to get the clear picture of what happens way before The Mandalorian Season 1, alright? Since it does take place a couple of years after Return of the Jedi, Favreau essentially wanted to make Rangers basically the prequel to the Mandalorian series, showing us how the Empire got where they got and how the Rebellion really evolved. Now, the next thing that Favreau says is actually quite surprising on his plans for a remedy. Now, this is the thing I like about Favreau, is that he always has some kind of contingency plan when it comes to a lot of these Star Wars projects. And the same exact thing happened with, past projects before in the past. that unfortunately did not make it, but this one is a similar case. And what Favreau had to say actually kind of gives a little bit of hope that many great parts of the story will be told as well. So he said, of course, you know, on top of all of that, rewriting parts of the story, shifting things around, it was a very hard thing that we went through, and it really hurt my feelings having to come to this conclusion to cancel it altogether. I do, however, have a remedy for this, that we are going to be taking parts of the series and putting them into many other Star Wars shows that we are currently creating. It's going to be quite the experience, and though I really can't say which of those shows will adopt pieces from Rangers, I'm going to let fans know once those shows do arrive on Disney+. This is going to be a very fun time for fans, and it's my way of saying thank you to the very least that we can do, finding different ways to salvage the show in a truly unique way as this. Now, before I get to the next thing here real quick, this show was actually described to be a very dark and gritty series. It was going to be a very action-driven show. Even Gina Carano briefly mentioned it before in the past that she was very excited to begin work on this series, but she didn't really know when they were starting. Even before Gina got fired, there was a lot of complications with the series to begin with. There was a lot of creative differences with Jon, Dave, and Kathleen Kennedy, since she had power back in 2020 before she lost it a couple months into that year. And there was just a lot of other things that were happening behind the scenes. You know, he was also really trying to find ways to really make the show work effectively and how it could connect to The Mandalorian. So at the end of the day too, it wasn't just all about Gina getting let go or creative complications. It was also about figuring out the story at the time. It was a bit of a struggle for them. So Rangers basically was the setup to the Battle of Jakku, and Favreau openly said this a couple of weeks ago, that is something that he wanted to use Rangers for, to build up to the big moments in the Aftermath novels. I don't know if you guys ever read the Aftermath novels, but if you haven't, go ahead and check them out. I mean, it really gives you a different perspective on the Empire and everything else related to that. And at the end of the day, too, Favreau knows what's best for Star Wars, right? I think that he knows ways that he can squeeze in the highlights of Rangers from the script that he had written, and how he's going to put it into The Mandalorian and or into the Ahsoka Tano series. He actually just teased that, like he said before, that he's taking a lot of moments from the Rangers script, and he's going to be putting them into multiple Star Wars TV shows. And that, to me, I think is very exciting. Because at the very least, we're going to be getting the highlights of the script of Rangers of the New Republic that is really going to give fans, you know, a very detailed and new perspective of the Empire, the Rebellion, Luke, Han, and Leia, and a whole lot more to arrive on this platform that they're trying to really escalate. So overall, guys, you know, at the end of the day, too, this really is a big deal. You know, the fact that Favreau unfortunately had to make this conclusion. So let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.